Imagine a king gives every citizen a bag of seeds and promises the throne to whoever grows the biggest harvest. A year later, the palace courtyard is overflowing with carts of golden rice. Everyone is smiling. Everyone is confident. Everyone, except one boy. He arrives with nothing. Empty hands, empty basket. And in that moment, he thinks he's about to be punished, or worse. But what happens next turns the entire kingdom silent. In a peaceful kingdom long ago, the king was getting old. He had ruled wisely, but he had no child to inherit the crown. And the truth was simple: without a successor, the kingdom could fall into chaos the moment he was gone. So the king made an unusual decision. He didn't want the strongest warrior. He didn't want the richest noble. He wanted someone with the one thing a kingdom can't survive without: character. One morning, the king summoned the entire kingdom to the capital. Farmers, merchants, bakers, fishermen, young and old, everyone gathered before the palace gates. On the balcony, the king raised his hand. Silence dropped like a curtain. Then he said, "Each of you will receive a bag of seed grain. Take it home, plant it, care for it. In 1 year, return and show me what you have grown. Whoever produces the finest harvest will become the next ruler." The crowd erupted. People cheered like they'd won already. Royal servants began handing out identical bags, same weight, same seeds, same chance. Among the crowd was a boy named Chom. Chom was poor. He had no powerful family, no special land, but he did have something rare: a heart that hated lies. Chom held the seed bag like it was a treasure. He didn't see it as a competition. He saw it as a responsibility. Because if he could grow something beautiful, maybe, just maybe, he could finally matter. Chom returned home and prepared carefully. He found the best pot he could. He chose the darkest, richest soil. He watered it gently. Not too much, not too little. He placed the seeds, covered them, and he waited. A day passed, then another. Nothing. Chom told himself, maybe they need time. A week passed. Nothing. He tried again. New soil, new pot, same seeds. He watered, he prayed, he watched. Nothing. Months went by. Across the village, green shoots began rising in other people's fields. Neighbors bragged about their rows of healthy plants. Some talked loudly on purpose, so Chom would hear them. "Look at my crop. I'm going to be rich. I might be the next king." Chom smiled politely. But inside, his stomach tightened. His seeds were dead. Or worse, they were never alive at all. Then came the dangerous thought. Chom could buy seeds from the market. He could plant them, grow a harvest. No one would know. Everyone else was bringing rice, so why shouldn't he? His hands even reached for a coin pouch once, and he stopped. Because if the test was about crops, sure, he could cheat. But if the test was about the kind of person who deserves a crown, then cheating would turn him into exactly what the kingdom didn't need. So he chose the truth, even if it destroyed him. A year passed. The king announced the return day. The palace courtyard filled with noise and color. Carts rolled in, stacked high with rice. Baskets overflowed with grain. People arrived wearing their best clothes, heads held high, already imagining themselves on the throne. Chom walked alone, No cart, no basket of rice, just a small, empty pot he carried like evidence of his failure. As Chom stepped into the courtyard, whispers spread like fire. Is that the boy with nothing? Did he eat the seeds? Did he give up? Some laughed. Some pointed. Some looked away. Embarrassed for him, Chom's face burned, but his feet kept moving. He reached the front. He knelt before the king. His voice shook, but he didn't run from it. "Your Majesty," Chom said, "I planted the seeds you gave me. I watered them. I cared for them. I tried again and again, but they never grew, not even a single sprout. I have no harvest to bring you. I'm here to accept whatever punishment you decide." The courtyard fell silent. People held their breath, waiting for the king to crush this boy for wasting a royal gift. But the king didn't shout. He didn't punish. He didn't even frown. Instead, he stood up from his throne. He walked down the steps, and he gently lifted Chom to his feet. Chom blinked, confused. The king turned to the crowd and asked a question that felt like a blade. Is there anyone else who could not grow their seeds? No one spoke. Not one person. The courtyard was full of perfect harvests and perfect smiles. The king stared at the mountain of rice, then at the faces of the people, then back at Chom. And in that pause, you could almost hear the kingdom's heartbeat, because the king wasn't looking for rice. He was looking for something else. The king raised his voice so everyone could hear. "People of my kingdom, the seeds I gave you were boiled. Every single one. They were cooked so they could never sprout. They could never grow." Which means he looked at the carts. None of this harvest came from my seeds. A wave of shock hit the crowd. Faces turned pale. Hands tightened on basket handles. Eyes dropped to the ground, because suddenly, their success looked exactly like what it was, a lie. The king stepped beside Chom and placed a hand on his shoulder. "This boy brought me the only honest result in the entire kingdom." He turned to the crowd again. Power without honesty becomes cruelty. A ruler who lies will destroy trust. And when trust dies, the kingdom dies with it. Then he announced, "Clear as thunder, Chom will be my successor." The crowd stood frozen. Some felt shame, some felt anger, but none could argue, because the test had never been about farming. It was about who could stand in front of a king and tell the truth when lying would be easier. Chom moved into the palace to learn the ways of leadership. And years later, when the old king passed, Chom took the crown, not because he grew the biggest harvest, but because he refused to grow a lie. So here's the question. If telling the truth could cost you everything, would you still do it? Type truth in the comments if you'd show up empty-handed like Chom, and if you want more short stories with powerful twists. Subscribe for the next one.